Well, how are y'all doing? Welcome back to Boompa's house. If you're new, howdy doody. And if you're from last week, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Well, this week's story is, oddly enough, like last week's story, unfortunately, all too true. And if you listen long enough and watch this, you're going to see a whole bunch of stories about me when I was crazy. Although, to be honest, I am not sure that I ever became not crazy. First of all, I got to introduce y'all to my best friend and me. The story of our lifelong friendship, me living in Beaumont, Texas, and him living in Meridian, Mississippi, is kind of astonishing because as of this date, Gary and I are still best friends. We used to get into a lot of adventures. Some of them I'm going to advise y'all not to do. I'm not recommending this stuff. I'm just saying, well, I wasn't a bad boy, but let's say I was really, really active. Now, I started going to Meridian every summer to live with my doting grandparents during the summer in 1958 when I was 8 years old and took the bus from Beaumont, Texas to Meridian, Mississippi with a change in New Orleans by myself. That's how safe the times were. To spend the time with my doting grandparents and also play with my best friend, Gary. That summer, at Astroworld, which was an amusement park in Houston at the time, we did something really, really terrible unintentionally, but it happened. Hey, right now, why don't y'all subscribe if you love nostalgic stories from the old days? Trust me, if you knew me, you would know things only get crazier from this point in time. Well, I always went to Meridian every summer, but in the summer of 1967, Gary came to Beaumont and visited me for the first time. Now, y'all aren't going to believe this, but every time we got together, we had a great time. And still today, even when we have a great time, it's just the same way, only we don't TP houses anymore, but we still have a great time whenever we're together. Now, I want to ask y'all a question right now because this story is going to be about something that happened at Astroworld, which is a great family theme park. Roller coasters, lots of sideshows, free, and it was just great. It was really a family park until Six Flags bought it and changed it into a park for just young people. So attendance at Astroworld started dropping and dropping and dropping, and eventually they went out of business. So, what is your best amusement park memory? Please share in the comments. Gary and I were quite excited to go to Astro World. What Astro World was like was kind of a Disney inspired experience for families. The joys of roller coasters, cotton candy, children running around, parents being frazzled. It was all just great, and we loved it. And another thing, if y'all have a great amusement park story of your own, share it in the comments. We want to hear from y'all. Well, Astro World had this great cable car ride that would take you about 100 feet in the air and then go all the way to the other side of Astro World so you didn't have to walk around the whole park. We got up there about 100 feet and boy, it was peaceful and quiet, and you could see the landscape and the scenery. It was just wonderful. I mean, what could go wrong on a cable car ride? Well, that is for normal people, but not for two 17-year-old boys. When you put 17-year-old boys in the mixture, anything and everything can go wrong. Now, here is where enters chance in this story because we had a great view and were enjoying ourselves. But I remembered that I had had a Coca Cola right before we started the ride, and I had a tremendous amount of loogie built up. Well, we were 100 feet in the air, and I got to thinking, it's terrible to waste this loogie. So I spit over the side. Oh, it was terrible. It was huge, and it was flopping end over end like a football. And about 50 feet down, a gust of wind caught it and blew it at a 45-degree angle towards the ground away from us. It was terrible. Some poor old lady who was there with her husband and family got hit right upside the neck. Ooh, that had to have been terrible. Now, y'all know that seeing this thing was pretty bad, but even on top of that, and much worse, is security was standing right there and saw this spit hit that lady, and they were waiting for us. Now, there were actually two that got involved. The first guy that came and took us to park headquarters was a little short guy, skinny, kind of like a banny chicken. And he was, oh, I have better than a banny chicken, a chihuahua. So he took us to his supervisor. Now, that was an interesting guy. He was a giant of a man, looked like a typical Texas deputy sheriff, but he was wearing an English Bobby costume, so he was not as intimidating as I guess, and I think, that he very well could have been. Well, they took us to the main office, and they set us in a room by ourselves. And so we were sitting there wondering, well, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? So finally, we decided to get up and find out. We had been in there for probably only 5 minutes, but seemed like 2 years. So we opened the door, and it was amazing timing, because right at that time, the big giant English Bobby Texan was dismissing the small Chihuahua Texan. So we went up to him and said, "What's the story? Can we go back in the park?" And boy, he thought, and then he pushed his hat on the back of his head and said, "Now you boys, why did y'all do that? How would you like it if you was walking down the sidewalk in Astroworld and a big glob of spit hit you on the neck?" The truth is, we didn't answer. And he looked at us and said, you could go back in. He took my name, but I was stupid and gave him my actual name. My good friend, Gary, gave his name as Jerry Anderson. It was hard not to crack up, but we did. And after that, we went out to the park. Still wasn't having a whole lot of fun. And then, we decided that it was time for us to leave. I want to make it perfectly clear to y'all. I did not intentionally spit on that poor lady. I just got lucky. Now, I promise to give you all a Texan or Southern expression at the end of every video, so here is the expression. The expression is mama nim. Mama nim. What it really says is, tell your mama and them we said hey. What it comes out, tell your mom and them we said hey. Tell your mom and them we said hey. So that's the way it comes out. Well, that's about it for now. I would advise all of y'all to please like and subscribe. I'm a pathetic old man and need all the help I can get. So if y'all would like and subscribe this, I would love it. So until next week, which I hope to see all of y'all come back. Y'all are welcome at this channel anytime you want to. I'll see y'all next week. Bye.